Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Inquisitive instance of evaporating characters. Furthermore, reality with regards to Everett is surging our direction. The show is by all accounts moving us towards large February clears minutes from Constantine and Everett, to the medication pestilence that is inundating increasingly more of the material. In any case, with characters leaving Salem similarly as we get into one of the greatest seasons, precisely how Days of Our Lives will deal with everything has got us puzzled. A significant message. We should discuss that Martin Luther Ruler Jr. Day episode apiece. Yes, the show was a little too heavy-handed in its approach, but that's pretty typical. Furthermore, it's not to say it didn't handle genuine, significant issues. My large problem was that it would have been / would in any case be ideal to see a portion of these things they discussed on screen. Jada looking at being profiled, for example, isn't close to as powerful as though we'd seen it. Show, don't tell. 'Cause us to feel, don't let us know how to feel. Johnny and Chanel sit at Rafe and Jada's table at the pub. Wearing a Brady's bar cover, Johnny folds his arms with a weak grin, and Chanel radiates. Rafe smiles at Jada, who investigates a baked good box. Supported connections. Joy new allowed to play World War II MMO War Thunder. Battle in north of 2001 of a kind and real vehicles. Battle ashore, on water and in the air. Join the most exhaustive vehicular battle game. More than 2,000 tanks, boats and airplane. War Thunder. Furthermore, discussing issues of bias and bigotry just during unique days and disregarding them the remainder of the year feels a piece like attempting to have it both ways, with the exception of their serving us a sort of thin, boring cake. There are genuine stories that could be told, instead of simply having a public service announcement episode to a great extent. In any case, I really do see the value in that the show required the day as a potential chance to get exchange moving, presently perhaps sort out a method for consolidating it. Who's out? Who's ready? One point I'll make for the temp authors, they're keeping us honest with the comings and goings, regardless of whether or not a single one of them appear to be more long-lasting. We're somewhat close into 2024 and Lucas is back. However, in all honesty, he springs up sometimes as essentially the main individual trapped in prison. In any case, on the off chance that he endures this story, couldn't the clinic have basically tidied him up a piece better? Also, acquires his opportunity, he could be getting back to the material all the more consistently. In Holly's emergency clinic room, EJ puts a hand on the senseless youngster's head. Remaining close to him, Nicole lays a hand on his arm. Wendy faked us out by leaving and returning right away, while it seems to be Tate, Holly and Nicole all left for the just a tad longer, the first for recovery he needn't bother with, the last two for Italy for Holly's treatment. You should rest assured they'll be generally once again eventually, yet I genuinely have no idea how long they'll be no more. There's an excessive lot of story left to tell to keep them gone. However, we have yet to see Gabby in prison 3 months after I had that thought about her. We still have months and months of their work, so the powers that be probably don't want the temp writers to make too many changes. However, they can't put off these stories forever. In the case of nothing else, perhaps they're simply setting up large returns for February and unstable uncovers. Genuine results. Then, at that point, there's Teresa who seems to be attempting to leave 1 week from now, however Eric Martsolf guaranteed us that she's staying put. What's more, this is where it gets fascinating, in light of the fact that I get the inclination that the essayist strike is keeping her around much longer than was initially expected. Also, can't stand that. Indeed, Emily O'Brien is an unexpected Teresa in comparison to Jen Lilly, and how the show dealt with that change was frightful for all interested parties, yet she's made the person her own. With a raised forehead, Alex puffs his chest to a frowning Brady. Somewhere far off, Teresa sits on the sofa, focusing on rosary dabs. In addition, I feel like she's truly made her mark with this Holly stuff. It seemed odd that the writers would choose to relapse into ecstasy, but it does make you feel good. O'Brien worked effectively depicting Teresa being high and sane, and that separate when she shouted at Alex and Brady at how wrong everything was prior to breaking her rosary was awful. I truly want to believe that they treat this slip cautiously and don't simply overlook Teresa retaliating from her backslide. Concerning that kiss Alex strolled in on, Martzolf had a smidgen more to say here. Brady and Teresa kiss. The entire medication story has opened up more than I naturally suspected it would. Teresa's guilt over manipulating Alex is intertwined with Maggie's distraction from Holly's overdose, which allows Constantine to concentrate on Steve and John. Harris is expanding his involvement with Jada and Rafe through his investigation, in addition to Lucas and Kate, while Stefan and Ava are, well, kind of still doing their own thing. In any case, they're liable for a ton of issues, so I anticipate that they should be more stirred up with others, particularly after EJ guaranteed Nicole he'd make the medication providers pay when he knows what their identity is. It's anything but an ideal web using any and all means, yet I appreciate that it's pulling in a ton of people. Think about who's coming to supper. Allow me to get this straight, Stephanie moved back in with Steve and Kayla on the grounds that she finished things with Chad, yet some way or referenced nothing about Everett to the point they did not know he existed? I valued Steve's spidey sense shivering with Everett, and trust it wasn't simply the concern of a domineering dad. All things considered, he was quick to detect something was off with Constantine as well, so him understanding something's off with Everett would be a decent win. At a round table, close to the Johnsons' open kitchen, Kayla respects Everett opposite her. Steve dives into his plate of food and Stephanie grins, sitting between her dad and Everett. More EJ and Beauty at long last get their gathering. Furthermore, indeed, 1 week from now, we're at last going to study Everett. Among Steve and that inquisitive woozy spell on Monday, we feel so tantalizingly near sorting him out. In addition, we talked with Elia Cantu and she had, we should simply say, an enlightening comments about Jada and Stephanie's ex. So return here on Monday to see what she's prodding. Despite this, that dinner was still a world away from Sloane's. That was flinch television at its most perfect. I could barely watch her embarrass herself, and Deidre Lobby's unamused Marlena takes worked everything out such that a lot more brutal. I say these all as beneficial things, since that is what they were intended to do. In any case, I'm one of those individuals who gets serious handed-down humiliation watching individuals embarrass themselves, fictitious etc., and I was in a real sense recoiling for her. With a raised forehead and a positioned head, Sloane focuses at Marlena while holding a wineglass. Eric looks at his wife with a brow furrow. It appears that Jessica Surfety had a great time and did an excellent job of acting drunk. Sloane's not precisely on the way to reclamation, but rather this culpability that is tearing through her is, I trust, keeping her as a reasonable person. Couples treatment. Johnny and Chanel are beautiful, yet they need something going on. Lori Wilson, who does our incredible Days of Our Lives recaps and consistently assists when I'm not around for platform, warned me to how much consideration the show paid to that ring Johnny gave Chanel. We're both trusting there's something more secret there, particularly since Johnny got it from Stefano. In addition, if they are considering a wedding on Valentine's Day, which falls in the middle of February, keep your fingers crossed that something significant occurs. However, that doesn't mean not allowing them to wed. They just need a story, and I think they work well together. Johnny gets down on one knee in front of Chanel in his bedroom. Shirtless, he wears a tie around his neck and warm-up pants. She wears a blue denim button-up over a frilly negligee. She holds a rose as they demurely smile at one another. Xander and Sarah reconnecting continue to be adorable enough for me to paper over the peculiarity of the amount they're finding out about one another interestingly. However, Xander is correct in saying that gnomes should be kept in the garden, not in the apartment. Why bring them here? They sort of feel like they're in a brief delay while we hold back to figure out Xander is Victor's child, however it's modifying their relationship little by little, which could be great to have laid out before Xander's uncover.